What's good, y'all? I already know where y'all at. It's your boy Star Jones, and this is a new episode of Star Views. It's about to start right now. So please, I hope you got your hookah ready, and I hope you got your cups full of whatever ready, because I got a lot to talk about, alright? Know what's going on. Star Jones, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Please and thanks, you heard? What's good, folks? Your man Star Jones. We back, man. It's been a long time coming. I know it feel like y'all haven't seen me in a long time. Because it has been a long time. It's been about a month since I actually put anything out. I know I promised you guys Jurassic World Dominion, but as I mentioned before, I was on vacation, and I'm not going to lie, I came back in a mood, and I just wasn't really trying to put anything out. I'm sure some of y'all have, like, YouTube creators block. Like, I just kind of just felt like, I don't feel like posting right now. And not to mention, Jurassic World Dominion was actually a very big disappointment. So, I'll probably do Star Quick reviews just to touch up on that. Just so y'all, because I'm sure y'all eager to know how I felt about it. But, yeah. But tonight we're here. We have another MCU installment. This is actually one of my latest Star Reacts. Also been slacking on that. I apologize, folks. I'm back on it. I'm back in my mood. I'm back in my groove. So, it's lit. It's only up from here, you heard? So, yeah, the last Star Reacts. Thor, Love and Thunder. Alright? This is Thor's third movie in the franchise. We had Thor. Oh, this is actually 4. My bad. This is the 4th film under the Thor franchise name. Yeah. So we had Thor, the one with the Dark Elves that was trash. Thor Ragnarok, and now Thor, Love and Thunder. Alright, in this installment we get to see Chris Hemsworth reprise his role, and we get to see the mighty Thor, the female version of Thor, actually make her appearance in the MCU, things like that. So when we get back, we're actually going to talk about what transpired in the film, what took place, a little overview. I don't think there's going to be too many, there's going to be mild spoilers. I won't spoil it for y'all too much, but there's going to be a little bit of mild spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, you have every intent on doing so, and you hate spoilers, I advise you to spin back once you actually see the film, and then we can actually discuss. Alright? So I'll be back in 2 ticks, excuse me. I'm actually gonna make a drink, get right with y'all, and be back in a second. It's good, folks. Your man, you already know. We back. We at that point in the show, like I said, where we talk about what transpired in the film, a little overview, in a sense. And I said I was going to give you a little bit of spoilers. I'm going to try my best not to give you too many, just because I know Thor is a movie that people really want to see. So, yeah, I'm not going to try to violate too slick. But boom. So, pretty much, this Thor picks up. Don't really have a specific time frame on how far this particular movie takes place after the events of Endgame, because, again, we haven't seen Thor since Endgame when he was fat, right? I think that was the last time we seen Thor on screen. There may have been references to Thor, but we didn't have an actual cameo or Thor presence on any film or TV show since. So, yeah, the movie picks up, well, before I get to Thor, the movie doesn't even open up with Thor. The movie actually opens up with Gore, the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, my guy, aka the Dark Knight. Yes, sir. So Gore comes into the frame, and we see him. He's in a desperate situation. He recently lost his daughter to death. Don't really know the specifics on her death. Like, I can't recall how she died, but we know that his daughter was dead, and his daughter was kind of like the driving force for him throughout the course of the film. But anyway, we see Gore. He's in this desperate state. He's seeking refuge, help of any kind. He stumbles upon this god who just slayed someone who wields the Necro Sword. The Necro Sword, for my comic book nerds, my Marvel nerds, y'all know where that comes from. And that's from the deity Null. Null is the guy who's responsible for creating the symbiotes, aka Venom, Carnage, and all of them. You know what I'm saying? But again, we don't get any reference to those characters because of the rights that Sony has over the Spider-Man characters. I think Null falls in that realm because there was no reference to Null at all. So yeah. So Null created the Necro Sword, and the Necro Sword is this weapon that has the ability to kill and puncture the skin of gods. And the Necro Sword has this dark energy, much like the Darkhold with Wanda, Scarlet Witch. It has this power where if you decide to wield it, it brings out the darkness in you, and it also, I think, ultimately kills you at some point. It slowly but surely kills you. So, again, Gorr goes to this god. He's like, please help me. I'm blessed to be in your presence, blah, 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 blah. The god then decides to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Shun Gorr. Makes Gorr feel very small about himself, demeans him, and at that point Gorr feels offended, and he's like, you know what, you're not a true god, you're a false god. So because now this god feels like, oh, you're disrespecting me, he proceeds to try to kill Gorr. At that point the Necro Sword begins to rise, and now the Necro Sword is choosing Gorr to be the next wielder. So Gorr then proceeds to take the sword and butcher said god. And so this is the first god that we see God butcher, slay, etc. on the screen, and this now pushes his story and his journey forward. So at that point we then see a muscular, no longer fat Thor, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're on their adventures since they left New Asgard at the conclusion of Endgame. And, you know, it's fun to see that they're on this, you know, adventure. We see that Gorr lost his weight. We see how he lost his weight because Korg is actually narrating his journey, his weight loss journey. And, you know, we see that Thor's in this place of zen. Like, Thor's finding himself again. He's getting his confidence back. And, you know, he's on his zen journey. That's what we see. So, in the midst of all this, they go into this battle. They win, of course. The Guardians decide, you know, oh wait, I'm lying. They get this distress call. Gods have given out these distress calls across the universe and they need help. There's this guy, he's going around killing all of us. One of these gods end up being Sif, Lady Sif. And y'all know Sif is Gorr's right-hand man. I mean, Thor's right-hand man. For me? So, Thor's like, listen, Guardians, you go help gods everywhere else. I'm going to go tend to Sif and see how I can help her. So then that's when they separate. Thor goes on his journey. He finds Sif badly injured. I think she lost an arm or something like that. But she survived the battle. And so now she's kind of telling him who this is, who this person is that has all this power and is able to put down gods like it's nothing. So now Thor's like, oh, I have a good idea. And let me go to Earth, try to talk to Valkyrie and see if we could, you know, figure out a plan. He arrives on Earth. Gorr's already there. And that's when we're first introduced to Lady Thor, Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman. And, you know, I guess that was the woo, seeing them on screen together. And so, boom. Gorr ends up stealing the Asgardian children and in a hostage situation to get Thor to his universe or planet so they could open up this gateway for eternity. Eternity is at the end of the universe or the center of the universe. You have to have the Bifrost to get there. And once you're there, you can make a wish. So throughout the film, Gorr's wish was to kill all gods, period. Like, I'm just wiping only out off the face of these universes. I'm just getting rid of all of them. But Thor's like, yo, we got to stop him because, you know, we can't have that. So that's pretty much the movie in a nutshell. It's Thor, Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, Korg, going through these different places and trying to save these children, these Asgardian children, along with trying to stop Gorr from reaching eternity, where he can make a wish to wipe out all the gods. That's Thor Love and Thunder. When I come back, I'm going to tell you guys how I rate it, how I feel about it, and whether or not you guys should see it. So we back, folks. I already know what it is. We at that point of the show. I think it's everybody's favorite point of the show, where we talk about whether or not we like this movie, whether or not you should go see it. What I've graded, things like that. So, Thor: Love and Thunder. This movie is not even 2 hours. I believe it falls a minute short. I think it's only actually a minute and 59 seconds. So let's start with the pros. I think Marvel is continuing doing a good job of building suspense. I think Marvel is doing an amazing job of giving us continuity and having something to look forward to. They've mastered that. I think, you know, they give enough for us to come back for more. Shout out Chris Hemsworth. I think Chris Hemsworth is doing a good job as Thor. And spoiler, there will be another Thor movie. I foresee Chris Hemsworth being Thor for a long time. I think he's having a good time playing this character, and he still looks young enough. He's not really aging so much because he stays in such tip-top shape. Shout out to his workout regimen. I gotta get like him one day. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I just see him for the foreseeable future. I think Chris Hemsworth is gonna be playing this for a long time. And again, at the conclusion of this movie, we know that there will be another Thor. I think the Mighty Thor looked cool. The Mighty Thor, again, that's a character that came relatively recently. I want to say within the last 15 years in the comic book world, and it was spot on. I think the source material that they used, you know, with Jane Foster being a cancer, you know, she realized she had stage 4 cancer, and Mjolnir, this broken up Mjolnir, decided to choose her to wield it, and yeah, that's how she became Mighty Thor. I think that was pretty cool. Shout out to their workout regimen as well, because Natalie Portman looked at a little Aki. I ain't gonna front. Her gun was kind of brawling. I ain't gonna front. I'm like, oh, I see you, girl. Tessa Thompson also as Valkyrie. It looked like they put her in the gym a little bit too. Word is CGI. I don't know if it was CGI. I probably have to digress. But if they were really in the gym getting right, then shout out to them. This movie was funny. It was funny. Taka Waikiki, if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. He made a good. He did a good job of putting the humor in this film. So I definitely enjoyed that. I think it was funny. Now, my issues with the film. The pace of this film was very fast. I don't know why it felt like it was. Oh, and shout out to Christian Bale. And this is what's going to segue into my issues. Gore the God Butcher is a bad motherfucker in the comics. Bad motherfucker in the comics. I'm going to tell you that right now. Gore is a bad man in the comics. You know, Gore did some shit in this movie, but I kind of feel like, again, because it's Disney, Disney always has to, that's the problem with the MCU. Disney always has to scale things back because, again, they're trying to appeal and sell to children also. But some of these characters from the comic book world are savages. And this is one of the biggest gripes with Thor, is because they feel like Thor is such a savage in the comics, but he's just this funny guy in the movies. You know, he gets mad sometimes, but it's just not the same berserk Thor that we're used to seeing and reading about in comics. But the same could be said for Gore in this film. I think Christian Bale did his thing. I feel like Gore did not get enough dialogue. I feel like he didn't have enough lines. I feel like for the little bit of screen time and dialogue that Gore had, I think was really good. And then to see Christian Bale play a villain was also pretty good. You know, because again, every time we think of Christian Bale, it's either American Psycho or The Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne. So, it was good to see Thor as like Christian Bale play like a bad guy, because we haven't seen it like really since American Psycho kind of. But that's my issue. That's a good thing, but kind of segues into a bad thing. Gore didn't get the screen time and the dialogue I feel like he deserved. I feel like it was short-lived. Now onto the pace. I feel like everything in this movie happened way too fast. They just jumped from here to here with the Bifrost. They was just moving so quickly. Yeah, now as far as the action goes, I think the scene where Valkyrie, Mighty Thor, and Thor fought when they was fighting Gore on like what looks like the moon, I think that was one of the better fight scenes in the film. I think that was pretty good. But outside of that, there was no wow scenes. Even when we saw Mighty Thor for the first time, it was kind of like, and I think because they kind of put so many trailers out with her in it, I think it kind of like dissolved the hype, so to speak. So it wasn't too exciting when we seen her. It was just like, oh. And usually like with movies, like even though we knew in No Way Home that Toby and Andrew was going to be in the film, when we seen him, it was still like, oh, but they purposely left them out the trailers. I think maybe if they left Mighty Thor out the trailers, maybe it would have been a little better. But her appearance did not wow me. So that was another gripe I had with the film. Darcy. Darcy had a big role in WandaVision. I was expecting to see more Darcy. We only saw Darcy in the opening scenes. The first act of the film, we only saw Darcy. We didn't see Darcy at no point after that. What's up? Free Darcy, because she should have been in it. She should have been more involved, especially if the approach of the film was supposed to be funny. But the reason why Darcy probably wasn't around, now that I'm thinking about it, is because they was off-world a lot. That's probably why we didn't see a lot of Darcy. But some way, somehow, maybe call Darcy on the phone to check in with Jane. I think that would have been cool. Like, I just feel like Darcy should have been more involved, especially because Darcy had such an integral role in WandaVision, and she was a good character in said show. No Loki. Spoiler alert. That's another spoiler. No Loki in this film. This was an issue for me only because Loki's his brother. He has a big R.I.P. Loki tat on his back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in some capacity, whether it be well, we did see Loki in memory scenes, but I feel like we should have seen live action Loki, present Loki, or, oh yeah, also his present day Loki's dead also. But it doesn't matter, because now the present Loki now is good Loki. So I think they could have still referenced him in some way, like seen him in some capacity. In a post-credit scene, mid-credit scene, somewhere we should have saw Loki. But we didn't. So, you know, this movie definitely was underwhelming. I was hyped up for Thor Love and Thunder for a long time. I just thought that, I don't know, because Doctor Strange 2 to me was, you know, Multiverse of Madness wasn't the illest movie. That also fell short of expectations. I just felt like, I just had optimism, like, Thor's gonna do it. Thor's gonna do it. And no, it didn't. This movie fell short. MCU right now is really fumbling when it comes to movies. No Way Home was the best movie they've put out in a while. Everything preceding it, a lot of things preceding No Way Home, and a lot of things after No Way Home, not named the TV shows, are not really doing it for me. I'm being honest. Don't really know where they're going, what's coming out for the rest of this year. I don't think anything's coming out as far as movies are concerned this year for the MCU. Definitely got to double check that. But with all that said, I'm going to give this movie a 6.
Aww.
6 stars. Again, if you're a fan of the MCU and you know you're big on continuity, you're big on canon, you're big on storylines, you're big on seeing characters meet new characters and the potential, knowing the potential of what's to come, then yeah, see the movie. If you're not a big MCU person, you know, you're a casual moviegoer, do not see this film. You'll just look at it as a waste of money. Yeah, 6 out of 10 stars. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. I don't think the movie was terrible. That's why I'm giving it a 6. It just wasn't nothing too crazy for me. Alright, so 6 stars out of 10. So that's my time, folks. Thank you for joining me, coming back and spinning a block with me. There will be more content going forward. Like I said, when I came home from vacation, I was just kind of in a mood, lazy. But I'm back on it. I'm activated. I got my batteries charged up, so we're going back to it. Star Quick Views is going to be dropping soon. Star Reacts is going to be dropping soon. I'm definitely active. I'm not too sure what's coming out for the remainder of this month. I feel like there's something else that's coming out in July. It's just not ringing right now. But definitely stay tuned. I will be active again. This past month was a month of me finding my zen, me getting comfortable coming back from vacation and just coasting and relaxing. But we back on it. I'm gonna see y'all soon. Y'all man Star Jones, y'all already know what it is. Y'all be good. How y'all be good. Have a good night. Oh, y'all still here? Appreciate y'all for sticking around, man. But I don't got no more hookah. But what I do have is more content on my YouTube channel. So please, if you haven't done so already, hit that red button and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified as soon as I post anything. Alright? And if you haven't already followed me on social media, here's my information. Make sure y'all follow up. Appreciate it. Y'all still here, man. That's valid. Have a good one.